You're live.
Okay, we're live, so we'll call the meeting to order. Sorry, we're a little late, public, but we had some other people were late getting here this morning. So the first thing we have is the approval of the agenda and order of business, and I have a 9.8, which is provincial budget. There are two items concerning provincial budget that I think we should be aware of. And I don't have anything else. Does anyone else? Oh, yes, Derek.
Well, actually, I'm glad you, I had that asked to fill out the agenda for provincial budget. So thanks for doing that. I just had one quick question later on where we are with door dining. I just didn't know if there was a place to discuss that.
Yeah, well, I'll just add it to 9.9. Anything else? If not, somebody prepared to move the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Public input. I'm not aware of any.
No, Jennifer indicated it's not any.
Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting, council March the 10th.
I have some amendments when you get there.
You mean Pam didn't write that down properly? Tell me what they are.
No criticism of Pam. She actually thanked me for reading them. So what I've done, which may make it easier, is I've written out the amendments, which I've given to Pam, and I can circulate. I know this is not a transcript, but I think there are certain things in the minutes that need to reflect perhaps more accurately as to the flow of what was said. And I can either circulate these rather than read them or
Read them, yeah. So I just want to make sure that they're not changes.
Maybe you could identify in the minutes where what we're changing.
okay. On page 96.
Yeah,
That right there.
Two, three. Page 5. Sorry, paragraph, line 5, after the words illuminated signage.
yeah.
Eliminate the rest of that, and I would replace it with the following. As well, Councillor Wells stated that the amendment caused him some concern as it relates to the hours of operation, plus the impact it may have on the residential neighbors in the affected zone. He stated that the right should be area specific and not zone specific, particularly with respect to the larger residential area. He also indicated that he recognized that we are dealing with the highway commercial zone and not the downtown core of the village. I know that we already had 9 signs, some of which need to be updated and replaced with new logos. He also expressed that he felt that these issues should have been considered as part of the village plan review, which he felt should be taken priority.
Well, I do remember you saying.
One more change. Goes on to say, Councillor Wells noted that in making his motion, that would be followed with a number of other motions dealing with the concerns expressed, particularly a motion to create a lighting bylaw to deal with the hours of operation to protect residential neighborhoods from lighting pollution. He also indicated he would be asking the planners to consider these issues in the village plan review with a specific request to look at making it area dependent and not zone dependent. He also proposed to ask the planners to consider whether or not a development agreement would be appropriate under the circumstances.
Well, I remember you saying.
I did actually. I went back to the tape, so
Okay.
make sure I have it right.
Okay, so that's one amendment.
That is the amendment to the minutes that I'm proposing.
Okay.
But then after that, I made a motion to approve. We had the public hearing, we had a week delay. I made a motion to approve. That motion is not in the minutes. Then I made a second motion. Which I want to amend because it doesn't reflect exactly what the second motion was. Second motion was to direct staff to provide a report with options regarding lighting. within the commercial zone, but not with respect to development agreement. The development agreement was part of the previous discussion that to consider in the plan review.
Yeah.
So there's a motion missing.
Oh, yes, and I know you made it. Yes,
I thought that was important.
yeah. Well, yeah, we have to. The
Yeah.
motion was,
And the second motion that's there, I would end it within the highway commercial zone and take out the words and development agreements for review and consideration. That was part of the discussion, but not part of that motion.
Because there was a second motion related to development agreements, is what you're
There
saying?
was not.
Oh, okay.
It was in the
No.
first discussion. Yeah. Discussion on development agreement.
So what motion is missing? Who moved and seconded? What does it
the
read?
motion to approve the amendment to change the
Plan to allow illuminate signs.
illuminate.
That whole motion, the whole reason.
That wasn't even in the minutes.
Okay, so who moved and seconded, Derek?
I moved it.
Yes, I know that, but who seconded?
Well, it would be in the
Transcript.
transcript, so
Yeah.
she'll find it.
That's-
Okay, any other
Okay.
amendments to the minutes? Somebody want to approve, they be approved as amended? Moved, seconded?
If I can, I know, I guess. Can I?
Yes, you can. Yeah. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried.
Thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Warden.
Okay,
Other than that, they're fine.
that's good. Committee of the whole recommendations, and we have, we want to separate the motion on infrastructure.
Funding yet, we have an update on estimated pricing, and we'll talk to you about phasing for that one.
So the
We would
senior
ask-
safety one, no. We can do this. Approval of resolution.
2011.
So just motion the resolution 2022-076. Would ask that you separate that.
Yeah, somebody prepared the
Oh,
vote.
okay.
What?
So in your package is 2022-076, I think.
Yes, so we want that one separated, the other two
So
can be
have that
dealt.
one separated so that we can walk you through some changes for your consideration.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
That's the first one, so we want that separated.
So in item 5.1 in your package, ordinarily council approves of the motions as a whole. I would ask that you separate out the approval of the resolution for the infrastructure funding application.
And
So
just
that
approve
you,
the
so that
rest.
you can consider an amendment to it.
Which is, that's the amendment. Just
Right.
That's what I have, 110, not.
Okay,
I corrected it.
okay, Mike.
Oh, okay, well, mine says 0762, so,
So what number is it, Pam?
110.
110.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and the other three can be approved as a block.
I'll move that we approve the motions 2022, 111 through to 113.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. So you want us to amend,
We do, but I know Mr. Snow was scheduled for 9:15. And we're pretty well at 9:15. It'll probably take us 10 minutes to walk you through
okay,
the amendments that we'd like you to consider. So maybe leave it up to you, Mr. Chair.
No,
Mr. Warden.
yeah,
Do you want
I-
Mr. Snow now?
yes,
or-
we should have.
Mr. Carroll, let me read it.
Okay, so he's joining us virtually.
Mr. Reed.
O'Regan too, okay. Do you know Mr. O'Regan's first name? Tim O'Regan as well, is joining with Paul Snow.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Great, thank you.
That's good.
I'm Tim O'Regan and Paul Snow is also here with
Yeah,
me.
we can see him.
Great,
So the floor is yours, gentlemen.
thank you very much.
Okay, good morning, everyone. We'd like to share the screen if we can.
You should have that ability.
Okay,
We have it anyway.
Yeah. Well, we have it on these ones.
He's bringing up his presentation. He's just.
Well, it's not on that big
It's not on
screen.
the- This is just for you guys, so he needs to bring it up on
For the public.
for the public.
So his presentation is different.
I don't understand any of that kind of stuff.
That might be different.
yeah,
If you're having problems, did you want me to just share the one I have?
sure. Would you do that, please?
Sure.
Kara's a wizard.
There you go.
Kara's a wizard. She is a wizard. Wait a second, I spoke too soon. Kara's-
No, I got it. Just gotta figure out where I am here. There we go. Okay.
There we go.
Perfect. Thank you. Good morning again, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about some exciting plans for the regional hospital in Bridgewater. Again, my name is Paul Snow. I am the chair of the pace setting committee, which is responsible for the major gift giving fundraising, generally of donations over $100,000. And joining me is Tim O'Regan, who is one of the two co-chairs overseeing the campaign. We plan to do a short presentation outlining the plans for the hospital, discuss the campaign itself, and the impact on the community. So we can go, yeah, we're on the next slide here. So just a little bit about the project itself. The size of the hospital will increase by 30% or 48,000 square feet. And I think probably, as most people know, the hospital was built in 1988 and has essentially outgrown the original footprint. And a lot of the services in the hospital do not have enough space to properly provide the service that they're intended to do. So this expansion will take care of a lot of that and prepare the hospital for the future, particularly with growing population in the area. The overall cost of the project is estimated at $116 million. So it is a major project for the area. And there will be a new two-story addition to the hospital, a new single-story, and new buildings for mechanical and electrical systems. Next slide, please. So just to talk specifically about some of the particular areas, the emergency department is one of those departments that is currently very busy, and they don't have a large enough footprint to provide to meet the need of the amount of people that are using the services at this point in time. So that particular area in the hospital will triple in size. There will also be a new dialysis unit with 12 treatment chairs. And again, this is an area that we don't have the service today at the hospital, and people in Lunenburg and Queens County, or in Lunenburg County, have to travel outside to get that treatment. They either have to go to Kentville or they have to go into Halifax. There's also going to be a new MRI suite. And again, this is a service that residents in the area currently have to go outside to obtain. There's also going to be an expanded endoscopy and day surgery. And today, for example, patients receiving an endoscopy have to wait in a hallway to have the service performed. So it's certainly not an ideal situation that they have today. There will also be weather-protected ambulance bays, systems upgrades, and a new road for a helipad. The construction will be phased over 4 years, and the construction has already started. So there is construction happening on site currently. And the targeted completion is 2025.
Pretty quick.
A couple of comments on the campaign itself. The community has been asked to raise close to $6 million to fund the purchase of the equipment. And it's important to note that the funds that we're raising are for equipment. It's not for bricks or mortar. The government is responsible for the funding of that. And our intent is to try to raise this money to get the best equipment that we can into the hospital. So that's really the intent of the campaign that we're involved with. David Himmelman and Tim O'Regan are co-chairs for the campaign committee, and both David and Tim and their families feel very strongly about this project, and each of them have committed $500,000 each to the campaign. So that's been a great help in terms of reaching our target in the community. We also have in excess of 100 volunteers from the community. So working on the campaign. So it's an indication that there's a lot of support for it in the community, and we've received a lot of support since the campaign has started. And the initial response in the community has been very positive. And I think the people of Nova Scotia have really indicated that healthcare is their number one concern. And I think anything related to expenditures or improvements in healthcare will be well received in the community itself. So we're going to move on now to talk a little bit about community impact, and Tim will take you through that.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're on mute.
There we go. Thank you. As Paul had mentioned, our regional hospital services an area, quite a long area along the coast of the South Shore, and it services an area from Hubbard's just about all the way to Shelburne. So it's a very large geographic area that covers a lot of square footage, square acres, I should say. The redevelopment project we expect is an essential component to attracting and retaining healthcare professionals in order to service that entire area. The other thing that it does is it adds new services that we haven't had in the past, and it expands the current services, which are ongoing costs for the province. So even though our community ask is 5.6 million, the investment by the government is substantial, and it goes well into the future. We anticipate adding about 60 to 80 new permanent jobs created in the community in the after this redevelopment has been complete. The other thing that it does as well is that it will certainly help to promote potential new residents to our various communities along the South Shore. When you have a new, modern, and well-staffed hospitals, a regional hospital in particular, that's certainly something that potential residents look at in terms of considering our area as an area to come and settle. We've certainly seen a lot of that in the last 2 years, and we certainly expect to see a lot of it going into the future. The other aspect that a lot of people don't think about is the fact that our regional hospital status is not a given. Even though we've enjoyed having a regional hospital that supports our communities, since 1987, it certainly is something that we can't take for granted. So this investment actually secures our regional hospital status for going well into the next 20 to 30 years, which is very, very important. Construction will also have a very strong economic impact. Just the fact that we're going to have approximately 300 construction workers on site daily. And, those workers are going to be coming from all areas, but they're going to be traveling through the South Shore. This will have a nice economic spin as well. So as Paul had mentioned, we've just recently started to engage the community in terms of asking people to give. We've had very, very positive response so far. And part of that is speaking with municipalities such as yourselves. We're accepting pledges up to a period of 5 years, which makes it much more appealing for whether it be businesses, municipalities, or individual gift givers to allow them to give annually for a period of up to 5 years. Certainly one-time contributions are also accepted, and gifts of stocks, bonds, annuities, real estates, or other capital properties are also accepted. And this gives people some flexibility in terms of how they can give. So we're here today to give you the information on our capital campaign, and also to ask your municipal council to consider funding our capital campaign. And we would suggest a gift for your consideration of $100,000 payable over a 4-year period, if that's something that that you think you're able to do. So we have presented to some other municipalities already, and we plan to present to and ask all municipalities that are covered in the scope of South Shore Regional Hospital. And we've had very positive response so far. We have had a commitment from the municipality, the District of Lunenburg. We haven't received an exact amount from them yet, but we have received confirmation that they will be giving to our campaign. And we'll be presenting to town of Bridgewater, we expect in the next 4 weeks. We're very, very pleased to have the opportunity to present to you today. And we're also certainly welcome to answering any questions that you may have of us.
Yeah, I have a couple. How much have you raised already?
Right now, Paul, you can confirm this with me, but we have raised approximately, and this isn't money in the bank yet, this is pledges that we've received confirmation for. This would include gifts that we don't have signed documentation for yet, but between the money in the bank and the pledges that we have, we expect that we have about $3.5 million raised so far out of a total of 5.6.
Well, that's quite a bit. Yeah. And the other thing I was just going to ask is, when the hospital expands to this degree, and I hope it does, because I do expect or understand the importance of it, is there a commitment from the province to, it's going to require an increase in staffing?
Yes, they have. Yeah, anything that the province has okayed in terms of capital expenditures, which come with a caveat for services, additional services, they have to commit to staffing. for those ongoing services. And we expect an additional 60 to 80 full-time staff at the South Shore Regional Hospital as a part of the capital campaign. And that's one of the major hurdles in getting these projects approved is the staffing and the additional services, ongoing services that come with them. It's easy to, to throw money at something, but it's not easy to commit to, long-term services. That's where the real cost is.
Yeah, well, that was my big concern, because that's an issue that almost all of healthcare has, is the staffing issue. So I just wanted to be sure. It's one thing to build a building, but if you don't have the people in it to provide the service, it doesn't help much.
Yeah, and just one last comment about that. I think, the province submitted their budget, presented their budget just a few days ago. And in that, the significant increase in the budget was about healthcare. And I think that it's been covered off in their budget.
Yeah.
I'd also add that, the South Shore has been fairly successful in retaining and attracting medical. I mean, we don't always have enough of all the services we need, but I think compared to other parts of the province, I think this area has had pretty good luck with medical services and the people to provide them.
Others have questions, comments?
I have a
Tina?
question. Hi, hello, good morning. You had mentioned your presentation soon to Town of Bridgewater, and of course you presented, I think, to Modal.
Yeah.
When you mentioned the scope of South Shore Regional Hospital, and as a regional hospital, I completely agree. Will you be presenting to the Queens County and Shelburne County municipal units? Okay, I see shaking.
Yes, we will, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. I just wanted to ask that. Thank you.
Others, questions?
No, those are the services that you mentioned are certainly needed. I know I have a neighbor that goes for dialysis, and they have to go 4 times a week out of Lunenburg County. So it's just one thing, and certainly MRI is another that are much needed in our area. So I applaud you for.
Yeah, Abdallah?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I was wondering if you've, and I know it's early, the budget was only a few days ago. Do you see any money targeted in that budget for equipment? I know you mentioned it was basically bricks and mortar, the government portion, but is that something that you would look into as well?
The 5.6 million that we're raising is going towards any kind of equipment that's necessary, that's attached to this particular overall capital campaign. A significant portion of it is for the new MRI machine. So the province is paying for the housing, which is a significant renovation in order to house an MRI machine. But we are raising the money for the actual MRI machine itself. And as a matter of fact, we added the MRI to this capital campaign because we really strongly felt that we needed an MRI machine in the area. And we also felt that we could raise the money easier, even though we'd have to raise an extra $2 million to cover the MRI machine. I say approximation $2 million. We felt that it would be easier to raise money in the community if an MRI machine was part of this overall capital campaign, because everybody seems to need one at some point. We seem to be underserviced in the province for an MRI machine. The province will fund equipment, but they will only fund partial costs of equipment that are needed. So our plan is to pay for the portion in which the province is not in a position to be able to cover. We want to make sure that we have the best equipment possible. And it's also part of, it's not just for the residents, it's also to be able to attract and retain medical professionals. They want to go where they have the best equipment available to them.
Yeah.
I was going to mention too about the comment about dialysis, and one of the surprising things that we've discovered in the presentations that we've done is the comment and the feedback that we get on dialysis there are so many people that in the area that need dialysis that have to travel outside. It garners more comments than even the MRI machine.
Okay, Floyd.
Yeah, I want to thank you for your presentation. There's definitely the need there. We all know that. And thank you for putting your time and effort for raising the funds. I just have one small question. What would trigger the start of the expansion? Like, is there a
It's
number?
already started.
Well, I know we're raising this money. Is there a point here where that, if you don't raise enough money, does that have an effect, or is that just the MRI? I know, I think when we first had the presentation, I thought it was sort of contingent on raising this funding, or is that not accurate, or?
We have committed, the community has committed to raising the $5.6 million. We told the province that we would. So one way or another, we're gonna come up with the 5.6 million, and this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Just want to say one quick thank you to both of you. And I know David is not here, but we also give him our thanks as well for his efforts. And I'm sure he was just too shy to come on, but yeah. Anyway, thank you for your efforts, guys. It's really appreciated.
Thank you very much for all your time. We really do appreciate it too. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. You'll hear from us shortly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Okay, how do we want to proceed with this? I mean, I know we've had the debate, and I don't even, I hate to have it again. I think we all appreciate it, and yet we also understand that healthcare isn't a municipal responsibility.
Should we refer to budget committee for now? Or?
Well, yeah, I know, but yeah.
Just asking.
It's only in the next few weeks, right? I mean,
Yeah.
We'll have that
Yeah,
confirmed.
Yeah.
I think probably, our appetite is probably with it,
I've
but
just had this conversation quite a few times.
Well, we haven't had it over the whole council.
No.
And I have never had it, so I'd love to have it.
No, yes.
Maybe the whole, we can have a discussion on how everyone feels and if we're gonna move forward and how much, or.
Yeah,
I think we need to have a discussion.
I mean, I absolutely support it. It's just that it gets on my nerves that I have to pay for provincial responsibilities. That's all.
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah. Okay,
It's appropriate to send the budget.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll send it to the budget discussions. Okay. Okay, now where am I? Oh, yeah, back to the committee of the whole and that one motion.
Okay, so,
you wonder?
please, no. go
No,
ahead.
okay. So last week we presented the application for the ICIP grant. And we presented you with a draft resolution. Committee of the whole made a recommendation to approve the resolution and for council to approve the resolution. But we told you at that time that we were looking at the numbers and the cost of the project and the phasing of the project. So we do have some revisions to it. Last week it was, the resolution was for a project total of $11,488,000 roughly. So just over $11 million. We've revised the figures to better reflect what we're seeing right now as some of the costs for this area. And so the total project cost is up to just over, well, almost 17 million, 16,900,000. So that takes our portion of that from 4,500,000 to about from 3 million to 4,500,000. So most of that is in the cost of increased cost for installing the force mains in the project. And we've redone the phasing. So you have the new phasing proposed in front of you. And we've got Tammy and we've got Manny and we've got Fred here if there's any questions about the revised phasing.
I would say that what the objective of the proposal to the phasing is that, as you recall, phase one was upgrade and improvement to existing infrastructure, including treatment plant, collection system, force mains, pump stations. And so we were, I guess our concern was that if only phase one was selected, it would not include any expansion. So what we're proposing is that phase one would include a portion of the expansion. So the portion on the, I guess, the west side of Stanford Lake. So it would, if approved, it would service the development that's being proposed on that portion of Stanford Lake. I guess our concern was that we might not get phase two approved.
Then what are you doing all the?
In which case you'd have the capacity to expand, but no funding to expand from the provincial and federal government. So I think that's what our advice is, to do a portion of the expansion in phase one and still hope that both phases are considered and approved by the province.
So probably that portion of the expansion is somewhat time sensitive anyway.
So what we proposed has not gone up $4 million, 5 million. It's, we've increased the
Overall.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of both.
little bit of both. Yes, yeah, understood. Okay, so it's not as
Yeah.
dire as it looked initially when I saw the
No,
numbers.
no, it's not as bad as it initially was. But we're adding more work to
No,
it.
got it.
So
Makes sense.
is anybody get questions or somebody prepared to move that we amend the motion?
I'll move, I think I made the original motion, I believe.
Yeah.
I'll move the.
We have a second. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor? Opposed, motion is carried. So that does it, right?
So that now gives, what we'll do is if in the next 24 hours, get our application in with a signed resolution of council to indicate that council is supporting the application. And then
tomorrow.
The deadline's tomorrow. Okay, and so then it'll go to that review process with the province.
We don't have a storm day tomorrow.
Hope we don't. Fishing day tomorrow.
Probably ready to go.
Well, you'll just have to work all night. You got till 6 o'clock.
I know that Jonathan and the team are pretty well ready to go, so I know that we'll be able to get this in.
They were anticipating we'd approve it.
We were ready with option A, we were ready with option B, we're ready, I think we're pretty well ready to go.
Okay. Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Fred and Tammy for digging into the detailed cost estimates and looking at some examples in other communities. Compared to kind of flag that concern and identify, I think, probably more realistic numbers. So,
Yeah, thank you. Take care. Okay. I think I'm on 7.1. 5.2, oh yeah, recreation and parks, Council Arena, sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. What the hell are we on?
5.2?
5.2, recreation and parks.
I think it was on your desk. Wasn't it? Yeah, it's like-
So you can see the recommendations there.
Yeah.
So we're asking for a couple of grants to be given to some of our young athletes that I think are already in the tournament or just finishing it.
I think they were, the last I heard, they were 7 wins and 0 losses.
The Taylor Sheets team is 7-2, and the Team Blades, which is Stephanie Atherton, is 2-5 right now.
Okay. I missed something.
So, it's all within budget, so, it's good to ask that the council will move the approval of this recommendation.
Somebody prepared to move it? Seconded, discussion. All those in favor? Opposed, motion carried. And the second one is the volunteer of the year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, So I guess we were recommending, they're all, obviously, there's always, it's quite an interesting discussion. How do you pick a volunteer out of a group of volunteers, and they're all volunteering in different capacities? You know, I think there was an excellent one from Floyd's district there that volunteered with Hubbard's Lions Club, and just as deserving, really. But I think we chose this one just because of with the increased costs and things, we wanted to sort of focus a bit more attention on the food bank. So having a volunteer that worked in that organization, we thought would be timely. So we recommended Barb Swicker, Chester Basin, to represent our volunteers at the provincial award ceremony. So that's which moves that we accept by council.
You have a seconder? Second. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
I actually have a question for Councilor Vino as well as Chad. Councilor Vino, of course, being on the committee, would be privy to this. I believe we only had three nominated, three come forward this year in total, which is a surprise, but understandable. So 3 in total. And so what are the plans? Knowing that volunteer week is coming up in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah. Are they live, not live?
Yeah, so what we'd like to do this year is similar to what we did last year. We had our volunteers come in and present them with their certificates of recognition at a council meeting. And so we'd like to do that during volunteer week. And so the meeting that would correspond would be April the 28th, I believe. And so that's what we'd like to do again this year, and have all 3 volunteers at the same time, have the full ceremony with all of you. And then of course we would do some of our normal publicity in our newsletter and social media and those types of things as well. So that would be our some of our local celebration, and of course our local one in the fall. So that was a change from the province. That last year they changed the ceremony from the spring to the fall. So then again, Barbara would go to that ceremony and represent the municipality in Halifax at that award ceremony in the fall.
So they are planning to have that live.
They are, yes, at this point in time.
Yeah. So knowing that we're sitting within this distance of each other and things are, I guess, opening up, whether, we're personally okay with that or not, that is what's happening. So in a month's time, we're not going to have a large event. We're going to recognize those people here. I get that, but people, on the other side are hungry for that personal contact and the coming together. So we're not going to do that like we always do, the volunteer reception. I forgetting the 3, that's very important, but our groups would turn out in droves to this event. We're not doing that?
Yeah, so I guess at the staff level, committee level, we talked for this year about doing the recognition in council and in not the community celebration for this year, and look for future years.
So try to move back to that.
Gina, just to hit on that, we used to do a thing for the fire departments as well. The dinner.
Yeah.
Is that something we're to look at as well, Chad, or?
I'm not sure that.
It's Bruce, and it's in the budget for this year.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a couple of years.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay. Thank you. Now I am on to 7.1, I think. First notice amendment policy, increase annual enumeration cost of living. I thought we already did it, but maybe we didn't. Oh, we made the recommendation.
What was all?
Made the
The
recommendation,
one,
so
yeah.
this is the amendment of the policy, so you have to give notice. First notice.
Somebody prepared to give, well, first notice?
This is first notice, and then you refer.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So this is first notice unless somebody wants something changed.
That's right.
Okay. Okay,
You need a second.
Motion to refer to second.
to refer to second, yes, yeah,
We need a motion.
yeah.
Yeah,
Move.
motion.
Second, second discussion, all those in favor, opposed, motion's carried. Okay, we're gonna do 8.1, then we're gonna take a short break.
8.1's easy. We get a lot of correspondence, both by phone and email, regarding the agriculture operation, and I asked that this be put in the meeting just so that other councillors can be aware and it's on the record.
Yeah.
So I think that the information is there. You can read it at your leisure. Basically, just more
Okay, 9.1 should be easy too, and then we'll have to break. Well, I say it should be.
Okay, there's Tim, there's Tim.
Right on, right on cue. Wow.
He's been doing pretty good lately.
You guys got through those last couple quick.
Yeah. We're on to your temporary borrowing resolution.
Yes, that's what I was hoping I would be looking up at, because that's what I'm ready for. Morning, council. So I brought you today a request for decision to approve a temporary borrowing resolution, as well as the a resolution for the pre-approval of debenture issuance subject to interest rate. These are to fund the purchases of the dozer and the excavator that we purchased for the landfill in this past year. This is all within the existing budget. Everything came in actually under the expected cost. And we're going to be going with the spring debenture issue to borrow the amount of money that we plan to borrow. So,
An undercost, that's amazing.
yeah, I wouldn't get too used to it the way things are going these days, but it's nice to see.
It's nice to hear it every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of amazing that the excavator was almost half of what we projected. What's up with that? That's.
Well, I mean, we probably predicted a little bit high because it was so hard to buy anything else that you just assumed, but.
I'm not sure if there was trade-in value that was incorporated as well.
There's lots of competition in the excavator marketplace.
Not so much.
And I know that the dozer is, I think it's called a high wheel dozer, so it has 3 wheels, so it's a much better design for landfill operations, keeping the tracks clear. And there's limited competition in the for that type of dozer, but I think the excavators, there's lots of
excavators.
competition in the marketplace, so that may have been one of the significant factors. So, yeah.
Somebody prepared to move,
So they are purchased. This is
Yeah,
just, this
right.
is just,
It's a matter of
this is a required motion so that we can borrow through the Municipal Finance Corporation, and their rates are always very competitive.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion, all those in favor, opposed, motion carried. Bruce is here, so I'm gonna do 9.2, you go ahead, right?
Thank you, Tim.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Just before Bruce starts, I'd like to thank Bruce for coming out last night and
Oh, my
presenting
pleasure.
a firefighter and for his long time service.
45 years.
45 years in Western Shore, Terry Rafies, and I just wanted to thank Bruce for being part of that. I'll be putting a few pictures on my Facebook page. Just want recognition,
That was
Bruce.
very
Thank you
good.
very much.
No, it went very well.
Yes, very well.
Good to see the department.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was great to get it done in
Yeah.
the time frame that we had.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, well, 45 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. Yeah, I won't take a lot of your time this morning, but I just wanted to go over the First Responders Wellness Symposium that's being planned. As you know, for us, we're trying to do our best with respect to mental wellness with our first responders. And this symposium is being planned for September, so this coming fall. It's going to be held at the Nova Scotia Community College, and it's being organized by a group including Wendy Rafies, who's very, very in on this type of education. So especially coming out of COVID, we have to put a focus on the mental wellness of our first responders. So the theme of it is keeping strong people strong, and it's focused on prevention, resiliency, and resistance in the first responders area. So they're requesting a sponsorship, and out of the fire services training budget, I'm proposing that we sponsor $1,000 for this upcoming symposium.
so the money's in the budget.
Yeah, I'd like to do it in this year's budget. if
Yeah,
we can.
yeah. It's not today's hit.
The background on it is attached, and that would give us what they call a platinum sponsorship, so we're participating on behalf of the municipality also.
Somebody,
I would move that we approve this. I think it's a great course, well needed.
It's great.
Yeah.
second,
How do they choose who gets the sponsorship? Like,
They're putting out a sort of a general fundraising campaign right now.
this isn't just to let one person go. This is just to
No,
fund
this
the
is-
whole event.
To help fund the event. Yeah, they have a number of exhibitors and a number of keynote speakers,
No,
and they're also,
no, totally no.
it'll be open to all our fire departments. Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're